And welcome to WonderCon.
This is for WonderCon.
WonderCon?
Con.
Oh, good Lord, I'm so sorry.
Hi. Hello there, WonderCon. We are so sorry we couldn't be there with you, but we are filming the last few episodes of Lucifer, and we are so excited for you guys to see it.
It's ironic, isn't it, that we're doing a show about the devil in Los Angeles and we can't actually bloody get there. Anyway, we thought we would compensate for that by tantalizing your tiddlywinks and showing you the first 5 minutes of our spring premiere entitled Candy Morningstar,
which airs May 1st at 9/8 Central on Fox.
Don't miss it. Hope you enjoy it. Sorry we can't be there.
What is it, Tom?
I'm just in wonder at all the cons.
Wonderful cons.
Oh my God.
You guys can expect coming up. First up, we had executive producer Joe Henderson. Executive producer Ildi Modrovich. Oh, Miss Leslie Ann Brandt. Our Mazikeen. Yes. Rachel Harris. The doctor is in. And we love him as Detective Douche. Kevin Alejandro. I feel like it should always be said as Detective Douche. That's how Tom does it. So congratulations, guys. Season 3 pickup already.
Yeah.
Big stuff, big news. There has been some confusion about episode numbers and orders and things like that. So do you guys want to just clear that up first and just get that out there?
So what happened was we broke an 18-episode season, and towards the end of working on that season, we were told that we had 22 episodes, which is awesome, but a little bit of a trick.
And we were worried that we were going to have to sort of pad our arc that we so carefully and lovingly constructed, but they actually said instead, just do 4 standalone episodes that can go anywhere. And at first we went, what? We're a serialized show, that's bananas. But we've had so much fun thinking about shows that we love, like X-Files, and some of the standalone episodes were our favorites.
And by the way, when we say standalone, it's kind of a misnomer because they were episodes designed to start story. So like, the idea was they'd either air in season 2 or season 3, but they would always start story that would continue in season 3. So all of these episodes, but when you watch them season 3, I really hope that you have the reaction of, wait, was that standalone? Was that, no, maybe? Because they will all pay off moving forward while still feeling like a story of their own. So.
All right, so you have that to look forward to, and we'll talk about those standalones a little bit later, but another big deal for you guys is moving from Vancouver to Los Angeles.
Yes.
Which means, for those of you that live here, there's a better chance of running into these guys when they're shooting on Sunset Strip.
You can stalk us.
How has that been for you guys? Because after 2 seasons, you've got a family up there, you've got the crew, you've got, you know, your poutine.
The poutine. By the way, the first thing we want to say is a huge thanks to the Vancouver crew, who were amazing. They had an incredibly difficult challenge, which is making Vancouver look like Los Angeles, and they slayed at it. They were, they were fantastic. We adore them. We are going to miss them. But having said that,
it's very bittersweet. You know, I was just there. We were just filming our last episode. I was there Friday, and it was my last day on set, and I cried like an idiot. No, we've become really close to them, especially obviously the cast who works with them on a daily basis. But this is the Lucifer crew band, Lucifer's Disciples. Representing today.
Oh, and speaking of bands, the clip you just saw had a little Easter egg. Miss Ildi, turns out, was in a band in the 90s. Do you want to explain to them?
What? There was a little homage in the episode you just saw because our band's name was the Heavy Woolies. Rock on, I know you've heard of us, right? And there's actually a little bit of one of our songs in the episode.
All right.
by the way, really quick, back to what you were saying though, we're incredibly excited to be back in LA. and the LA tax break we are so grateful for, because
Yeah.
that's what made it possible, and it's just incredibly awesome that we were able to get that.
How do you think it's going to affect the show going forward now that you do have the ability to film all over the city now?
There'll be a little less rain, a little bit.
Well, maybe not this year. This year's been bad. We'll just be able to shoot every corner of Los Angeles, and I think it's always been a character in the show, but you'll just feel it a little bit more in a really exciting way.
All right. Okay, so this season has been so much fun. You guys really, you set the bar very high with the season finale, with just the idea of Mo. And then bringing in Tricia Helfer, who is amazing on this. What did bringing her in do for the dynamic on the show?
It was so fun because the first season was exploring, dad and Lucifer's daddy issues. So now we got to explore, which is a completely different thing. I think we all know our relationships with our mums are very different than with our dads. And so we got to actually, and also with God, where is he? This is mom, and she's right there to interact with. So it's kind of made it crackle a little bit more, I think, and that way it's immediate.
And a big part of that too was she's not the villain of the season. She's an antagonist of sorts, but she's her own hero. She's got a very clean want. She just wants to be back home with her family. That want just happens to collide with our characters. And the big thing that we did is we tried to break her story as her hero story. Like, she is the hero of her own tale, and as long as we feel like we believe her as a hero, then she's an even better adversary because she's justified. And also Patricia just brings her to life in such an amazing way.
And she got to mix it up with everybody, which has been so much fun to watch because her relationship with some people on the panel is not great and others is inappropriate. But I feel like Charlotte has had a good effect on her sons. And we talked at San Diego Comic-Con about how is humanity contagious? Are these celestial beings actually catching some humanity? Which has been really great to watch these guys, especially because Maze, I don't think Maze knows what to do with like human emotions.
No. Well, I think she's, I think that's what's been so fun this season is actually exploring a lot more of that humanity. I mean, her want for season 1 was to, go back home to hell. Her want for season 2 is how do I make home on Earth? And that means being forced to explore relationships and friendships and find a job and make a little hell on Earth, for herself. Get her demon kicks from bounty hunting. And then introducing someone like Trisha, which is her old life. It's like, what is that? How does that make her feel? It's. But I think to the core of at least my character, I'm still a demon. It's just that I'm a lot more aware of how to interact with certain humans, like Dr. Linda and Trixie. I think she's still up for torture and destroying some souls, on a good Wednesday if it was offered out.
One of the things we very intentionally did this season is we separated Maze and Lucifer. They're not together that much, and that's very intentional because we wanted Maze to go on her own personal journey of who she is. I will say that will come to a head, that separation between the two of them in a pretty awesome, slightly bloody way.
Lots of blood.
Well, one of the things that I loved watching was when you're watching the season, the way Maze interacts with the two mothers and how she gets ferocious around Charlotte, but ferociously protective around Chloe, especially at the end of the season. I thought it was really sweet, and then you get pregnant. I'm like, well, she's going to have to juggle this. One of the other great things you just touched on it, Maze's session with Linda and her self-actualization and how Maze is not exactly able to take the direction of a therapist yet
No one on the show is.
But how do you guys, when taking on the idea of giving, imbuing humanity into these, as Linda would call them, demons from hell, how do you balance, making them very sympathetic and lovable, but also balancing and respecting the fact that they are, in fact?
I think this friendship, for example, is something that, one of the biggest compliments I got on social media from a fan was in regards to when Maze brings her the chick, her first bounty chick, and she's so proud because she's put into practice some of the things that Linda has encouraged her to do. And someone on Twitter said to me, that conversation of, I'm still me, you're still you, what's changed? That's every person from the LGBTQ community has had that at some point in their life. And I took that as a real, an honor and a compliment, because we're exploring this friendship in this, kind of fantastical world of demons and angels and the devil, but to the core of it, it's real relationships, it's real human relationships. And I don't think that there's a friendship like ours on TV. It's just so unique, and it's between two women, albeit that one of them is a demon, but two very different women with different backgrounds and different homes and different points of view, figuring out how to make this work. Yeah.
And also, I need to actually thank you for the slight nod to the fact that Lucifer has been with all sorts.
Yeah.
That was quite. We're here for that.
That was important to us.
Yeah.
And it's honestly, it's from the book, and it's an element of it that from the very beginning we were like, this is an important element of the character. And
he appreciates all things delicious.
Rachel, did you, when you started on the show, and even like midway through first season, were you worried that Linda would never leave that office?
Yeah, no, we had a conversation about it from the very beginning, because I think Ildi, our very first conversation about Linda was that I first of all, from the pilot, I was worried that I didn't want her just to be this dingbat that was like, oh, Lucifer, you're so hot, I'm willing to do anything. And so we wanted her to to show more sides of herself than that. And then I do think when we got into season 2, there was something in the writer's room where we were like, you're gonna get out of the office. It's more than one episode, so that was, it's exciting to be integrated into everyone on the show, all their stories. And I just think it's good for the show that we all have more to do.
I was very surprised that in the mid-season finale, when Lucifer asked who wanted to kill him, that Linda did not also raise her hand. I just figured everyone in the room would be like,
Yeah, no, that's one of the things that I do love about Linda, is that I think she's a very tolerant person, that we're seeing that it's not that she doesn't have difficulty. She's not just blindly accepting everyone, but she's, once she does, she's in it, and she's very supportive and loyal to Lucifer and to Maze and to the whole gang.
From the pilot, I think, the character of Dr. Linda was the only one who like, she had a moment where she reads him clearly. And since Lucifer has no idea what's happening inside himself, that's where he's the most clueless. He's not self-aware at all. And because she was able to just, despite her, his devilish charm on her and the fact that she was salivating, because ladies do that around Lucifer.
She knows hot yoga.
But she was able to see him, and I think that's been the foundation of their relationship.
Were you surprised that they decided to have him reveal his face to her?
I can't.
Were you surprised that they had him reveal his face?
No, actually. I mean, I was hoping for it, but I think we had gotten to a point story-wise, right, guys, where it was like, how long can Linda just be like, again?
Well,
You're not the devil, you know. It was like
Again with the devil metaphor.
Yeah,
It's
there was
exactly.
a big conversation we had at the end of season 1 where it's like, how many more times can we have a metaphorical conversation when what we really want to do is to dig into the psyche of this character, and the way to do that is to get to this moment of honesty. And once we realized that and started playing with it, we realized that not only did that let us dig deeper, but it changed Linda's dynamic. She's the secret keeper. She's the human that knows everything else, which allowed us to have that scene in the winter finale where you've got all of the supernatural characters and Linda. And she's looking around like, what's going on?
And I felt like I feel like I'm more the point of view of the audience. Like I get to be the point of view for all of you guys. And it's kind of, what if this really happened? It is happening.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, Kevin Alejandro. Can we all, yes. First, most improved. I'm giving him the Student of the Year, most improved. We've seen Dan really grow. And in fact, we can celebrate that you have shown us parts of Dan that we never thought existed. Like six-pack. What the hell?
The man's
That
working
didn't
out.
exist at one point.
Did they take away craft services or something? Like, that was, we were all like, oh, Dan's been doing his push-ups.
Yeah, I got lucky, you know. I just got to a point where I was like, you know what, I want to show up this season and just be look and feel the best I've ever felt, you know. And it took a lot of dedication, a lot of hard work, a lot of salads.
And we both have an amazing trainer.
Yeah.
Pablo.
Yeah, we have a trainer out of LA that he trains us in Vancouver as well on FaceTime.
I'm just naturally like this.
She really is.
No, but can I say, thank you. Can I just say Kevin's wife also trains with that trainer, and she looks smoking hot.
So, by the way, what happened was, top of season 2, I was in town for the table read for the first episode, and I hugged Kevin, and I was like, whoa. And I was like, and yeah, I got a little molesty.
Yeah.
And
Like, by a little, it means a lot.
a lot. And I go back to the writer's room, and I think we were breaking episode 6 or 7, and I'm like, guys, we need to get Kevin shirtless as soon as humanly.
Do it
That was
quick.
episode
There's no
7.
telling how long it's going to last. Let's do it quick.
Right. So how was it being the eye candy with Tom in that sauna scene?
What's that?
How was it being the eye candy in that sauna scene?
Oh, it was fantastic. Not only do I sleep with his mom, I have a six-pack.
He was like, how low can I put the towel?
That was a deep V, man.
That was.
But one of the great things that's so great about Dan is that he could have been a character when introduced. He could have been the villain, the emotional villain, the guy that we rooted against so Lucifer and Chloe got together. But all along, the guy has shown a willingness to grow up, take responsibility for his actions, and actually be a stand-up guy, even though he makes some horrible choices, usually with Maze around. But I love that this guy is also very heroic. How has that been playing? I mean, he's pretty complicated for someone who's not a devil.
Yeah, you know what? It's actually, yeah, you hit the nail right on the head. It's, you know, he's forced to evolve with the natural, you know, solution of this relationship, you know. And every decision that he makes is through love, especially when it comes to Chloe and Trixie. So you get to see him make those choices, but, you know, they're wrong, you know, moralistically, usually. But it comes from his heart, from his love, and, you know, it just makes him so much more interesting. You know?
One of my favorite pieces of Kevin Alejandro improv was episode 211, where Lucifer always says, you know, bizarre, strange things. At one point, he's like, good, I'm glad you're not going to try to sleep with my mom because then you'd be my stepdad. And you just pause and you're like, say some weird things, man. So, and like, that's one of the things I think you bring so much to your character and everything, is that sort of, that grounded sort of like, did you guys do that too? No.
And in a show that's about, I mean, our whole show is about duality, so we couldn't possibly have, I mean, even you know the ex of our love interest basically for Lucifer, naturally that's an antagonist. No, we can't. Like we said to ourselves, like in a show that's about the devil who's exploring humanity and the good, he's not all bad, as we now know. So of course, Dan couldn't be all bad either. No, we don't want anybody to be all bad. We're all human.
And that's a big, one of the big things we did was we looked at what are the general archetypes. Like the X is the villain. Let's eventually build a friendship. You know, like the two women in Lucifer's life, the two main ones at the time were Maze and Chloe. They should hate each other. But isn't it a lot more interesting if they end up living together? Like, that's the thing. Like, really just going, okay, we've got our cliches, play with them a little bit, then let's subvert them. Then let's really turn them on their head. And we've been so lucky to get just a ton of story out of it.
Nice. And the joy of the second season, after you've set up your first season and established the world, and you let us know who Lucifer and Chloe are and where everyone stays in, you know, where they fit in that universe. Second season, you've been able to play with your ensemble more and dig into who these characters are. How fun was it knowing when you were going through the second season that you were really going to get to really, you know, flesh out these guys?
So much more. We're invested at this point. Like we care about them. So now if we bring them to the point of danger, let's say in the finale, we care.
You have a what?
We're invested. So just a little tease.
We're very lucky because we have an ensemble that you can follow any of them in a scene, and we've embraced that more and more. And actually, the standalone episodes that we're doing are even more so digging into that, and they've really inspired us in season 3, which we've already been working on, to even more so dig into these characters because it's such a rich world that we're building with them, and we've got some pretty darn good actors.
So tell us about these standalone episodes. I know that they're character-centric. What can you tell us about them?
They're all different and they're all super weird, and we were sort of given permission to go a little crazy, and I think they didn't expect us to go as crazy as we did in the best way possible.
Like there's one coming up that I think Leslie Ann can talk about a little bit.
I have an episode that's kind of focused just on Maze. It's called Mr. and Mrs. Mazikeen Smith. It was really cool. I was pregnant at the time, but that didn't stop me from wanting to
kick some ass.
Yes, I do fight, still fight, but I was just wanting to get to lunch break. That was my motivation. No, but it's great because you get to very rarely in a show like ours where you have all this amazing talent, and obviously, you know, the show's called Lucifer. Do you, as an ensemble cast member, get to kind of lead an episode yourself and have it be as fun and as nuanced as this episode is? So I'm excited for you guys to see it. I mean, I can't really go into too many details, but you definitely will get to see some
more stuff,
some
more sides.
But like so like that episode, it's much more action-packed and sort of exciting, but it's still got an incredible heart. We got an episode that's much more of sort of a romp and ton of fun. We got an episode that's sort of like almost like a, I guess, Twilight Zone-y sort of thing, like dark, and at times it almost feels like a play in a way that makes me so happy because our show can exist in all of these different.
One has a little bit more music in it.
Oh wait, are you guys doing a musical episode too?
I'm telling you, that is coming, and I call dibs.
By the way, it's funny because Ildi technically already snuck one in. Like it's not a musical episode, but it's got a bunch. Like we will have a full-on one at some point, but you already sort of cheated and got one in there.
So I might have been the only one. I don't know. Maybe you guys can back me up, but I felt that there were some sparks early on between Maze and Dan. There were clearly some scenes that were where they were put together in compromising positions, where I was like, okay, I can ship that. Does his being with Charlotte make him forever unclean now?
To be honest, it makes Maze laugh, because as you saw with King, she got a lot of fun outing him as Lucifer's mother. I can't say it, they're kids.
Oh, there's something.
Yeah.
The greatest mom joke.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. I think they have more of like a I have brother, sister, like I like to pick on you kind of relationship.
Yeah, but I think that if it went there, Dan would treat her like his own.
Like his what?
Like his own. He would own you.
What? Listen, okay, his wife's name's Leslie too, and she owns him. Like, he get owned by two Leslie.
Two Leslie owns.
Damon, I just want to say that there were also, fans said that there were sparks between Maze and Linda.
Yeah. Well, come on, there's sparks with Linda and everyone. The woman is a sexual dynamo.
I was going to say, what about Danada?
Danada.
Back to work.
You could totally do that.
So, by the way, the 5 episodes we have coming up, one of the things that we really tried to do was mix and match who hangs out with who. And it's fun because you got a lot of sort of unconventional combinations. Like, we've got an episode where Chloe and Mom work together. We got an episode where Lucifer and Trixie work together.
Okay, would you ever consider doing an episode from Trixie's point of view? Because I need to know what she thinks of the madness around her.
Well, she clearly knows everything.
Yeah.
And has figured out the truth about them.
Yeah, she's the smartest one in the room, let's just be clear, yeah.
Like,
we have an
The daughter of a
episode
miracle.
where Lucifer and Ella are going to have a little adventure together soon.
Okay, so that was someone who couldn't be here also today. It was Amy Garcia, who has been killing it. It's so funny. And it's such a weird character to bring into this. But her character is deeply religious. Have you guys mapped out when and how she's going to find out that she's surrounded by basically her worst nightmares?
or her greatest opportunities.
True.
Yes, we've had a lot of conversation about that. For one thing, Amy just, like you said, kills it in the role. I mean, like, I think to a certain extent, she's sort of our nerd spirit animal on the show. If there's anything nerdy about us, like, I'm the one who jumps onto inflatable objects and pools and videotapes in slow motion. So I literally just made that up. Like, that's what we do. Like, if we do something nerdy, if one of our writers speaks Klingon, Ella does. And she brings it to life, and you believe it because she has that. And one of the big stories moving forward will be, with all of our characters, them learning the truth eventually about these characters, getting bits and pieces, and in Ella's case, challenging her faith. And it's a slow burn on that because she's the new kid at the at camp, but it's something we'll definitely dig into.
And she's the most accepting of our characters. She's the least judgmental. So what is going to happen, like you said, okay, you learn that somebody that you love is the devil. Does that change who they are as a person? So.
You've introduced, Lucy and Amenadiel's brother, their mother. You've referenced to, like, you have planned on bringing in any more family members. And can Hillary Burton please play one of them?
Having worked with Hillary Burton, I adore her.
Yeah.
From your lips to her years. We've hinted at Azrael.
Yes, there's a lot of angels, that's all I'm saying, and demons. And
the challenge is we want to introduce more of them, but we also don't want to overstuff our world, because our world does exist in our grounded Los Angeles, and so the challenge is slowly introducing them and bringing them into the world without upsetting the kettle of all of the stuff that we have going on, and having time for our cast that we have.
Because we like that.
Yeah. Do you guys have like a wish list for who could play God?
Well, it's funny you should ask that.
I think you should ask that. There's an episode coming up, episode 16, called God Johnson.
Which is about a man whose name is God Johnson, who claims to be God.
Is he? He's played by Timothy Almanson.
Nice.
He's amazing.
He is delightful in the role. Can't wait for you guys to see it. So that will be the question of, is he the God?
Yeah.
We don't know. Well, we know.
Yeah. We know. I don't.
Because I was gonna suggest Kevin and Leslie's trainer. The man is working miracles.
That's something.
You have an Italian accent.
I was like, we've seen on television, especially with comic-sourced shows, that there really are no boundaries anymore. Have you considered or talked with DC or Vertigo about other characters from the archives that you guys could possibly play with as well?
You know, it's funny, we really haven't, partially because we've sort of been on our own path so much, and so much of season 2 was creating the mom character who isn't from anything, and other than that, like it was, well, it's our family story, and so it's the brothers, it's the angels. We are Easter egging in a couple things here and there from the Lucifer comic itself, including a favorite character of mine, which you will see at some point. Yeah, I know you do that. And so we are going to slowly be bringing in characters from the comics. When it comes to the outer world, we haven't, honestly, we've been having fun playing in our sandbox.
Yeah, we're in the DC, we're Vertigo comic books, so we're not completely in the DC universe, but you never know on a show like Lucifer. It's the devil solving crimes. Batman could show up, you don't know.
I really want it to be that Legends of Tomorrow, Arrow, Flash, Supergirl crossover. They're all in the room, and Lucifer's in the back, just like looking at it like, nah. That's my crossover.
Martini in his hand, yeah, scotch.
Kevin, what can you tell us about Dan and Charlotte's relationship going forward when we come back?
Well, that I get to kiss her, which is a lot of fun. You know, you see how they fit and how they don't fit, and you know you can form your own opinion as to whether or not you think they should be together. But you know, just it evolves itself into what it's supposed to be. I don't know how much I can say. But I don't know, watch them like squeal around, you know, they just squirm around each other a little bit. You know?
And how is this going to affect, because Dan has made some inroads with actually bonding with Lucifer, but this could be a deal breaker. This is just like icky.
Yeah, you know what, it could definitely be a deal breaker, but I think Dan has had the opportunity already to stand up to Lucifer and be like, you know what, dude? You can't treat me that way anymore. Right? I'm not your doormat. And when that door opened, it actually opened up a different depth in Dan Espinosa to where now the banter is different. Now he steps up, you know, and calls him on it. And he's like, you know, you're a douche, yeah, you're a dick. You know, and it's pretty funny how that relationship has evolved.
Rachel, since we have you here, Dr. Linda is able to read people pretty quickly. Can you diagnose Maze and Dan with their most glaring emotional issues?
And then the actors.
Oh, and then the actors.
Yeah, more important.
Okay, so Maze has a deep need to be loved. But she doesn't. But she doesn't know that yet. And as I'm really doing this like seriously, and I should be doing a joke.
Oh, I like it.
But
we're writing this down. So
and what's interesting about Dan is that I think that Detective Dan wants to do the right thing by his daughter and his wife so much that he gets in his own way by trying to do the right thing, because he too just wants to be loved. And I think that's the theme basically of our show, is that we just really are all struggling to try to be loved. And Leslie Ann in real life, her issues.
How many hours do we have?
Do you guys know she's pregnant?
Demon baby.
She has no issues. She's perfect. And Dan, and I would just say Kevin's issue is that he has a great family. There's no issue either. He just says, I just wanted to say he has a great family. His wife and his son are amazing, and they're great.
Pretty awesome.
And Ildy and Joe.
There's no help.
Right. They're good. Oh, and also I wanted to add something too, that when we did find, oh no, it's going back too far, it's fine.
Who is most like their character?
Ooh, the most what?
Who's most like their character?
Most like their character. Amy Garcia.
I think Amy Garcia as well.
Amy Garcia.
Yeah, we started writing a little bit to Amy's voice when she first came on, because she has a manic, you don't know when she's taking a breath energy, because she just can keep going and apparently breathe in through her ears, I guess. And we have
she stayed at my house when she first came to Vancouver, and she was trying to find an apartment. And I was like, dude, I would pull out a couch. You don't know me, but come and sit, here's your home. And she is Ella from 7 a.m. She is. Like, I was Skyping, and Amy, I love you. I know you're going to see this. I was Skyping my husband, and she was like, hi, what you doing? And like, totally hijacked the conversation for 20 minutes. And I was like, this is great. I can make my breakfast, coffee. I'm like, hey, babe.
You don't ask Amy Garcia how she's doing unless you really want to know.
Oh, Amy.
And she's awesome, yeah. Like, she's an incredible infectious energy, which...
The best.
Yeah.
All right, we're going to go to audience questions. So start lining up, and I will find you. Oh, there's that spotlight. Before we get to those guys, one last question for you guys. Who's the most likely to sin on your cast? Sin.
Sin in real life? Like the person.
Who's most likely to sin?
Who is the most devilish?
Most devilish, you guys.
Kevin. Yeah, Kevin's.
Kevin. Definitely Kevin.
But for the right reason, of course.
Ask him how he's feeling. Ask him how he's feeling right now.
Oh, ask me how
you're feeling right now.
After last night.
Oh, after last night.
Yeah. Fantastic.
Let's go easy on him. We got anybody back there? There you go.
Hello, sweetie.
Hi. I was just wondering, from season 2, the winter premiere, Linda mentioned to me that there's like a history to her and like a dark side maybe. I was just wondering if we're gonna get to know more about that in the future.
Oh, yeah. I say you have no idea, or say something like there are things you
Oh,
know about me.
Oh, so basically, that was something that we dropped. She was asking about the history of the dark history that we've hinted about. There are things you don't know about me, and that was a very intentional Easter egg that we do plan on picking up, and in fact, we'll hint at a little bit more in a couple episodes. But that, and then also the idea that demons don't have a soul were two very strategic little bits that we set up, knowing full well we're going to come back to them, because that's the fun of these characters is, wait, Dr. Linda's so nice, and wait, why does she think she's going to hell? Wait, demons don't have souls, what does that mean? Like, those are elements we really look forward to playing with.
All right, thanks.